switching.
Welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas, Director at the B.B. Comer Library, and as always, we thank you so much for joining us and just being with us to hear about the great things that are going on at the library. And on behalf of our board and our staff, we also want to publicly thank TV47 for always being such a great champion and helping us get the word out about what we're doing at the library. Today we've got a special guest who really needs no introduction, Dr. Shirley Spears. And Dr. Spears was our library director for 33 years, and she has switched roles and works now with the Comer Library Foundation. And one of the things that you do, Dr. Spears, through the foundation is you help plan these great brown bag programs for us.
Yeah, it's just such a pleasure, Tracy. It really is.
Well, we're glad you're still interested and you still want to do that because it's something that you're so good at. And today we're going to talk about our new series that's coming up. It'll kick off here in just a few days, and we wanted to give you a little preview. And it feels like, you know, as soon as we get through with one series, it feels like such a long dry spell until another one starts because we love doing these, right. And we hate the dead time when we don't have them going on. But then it seems like it rolls around so quick, and here we are again.
But we get a lot of feedback, people saying, what am I going to do? I mean, when are you going to start back? Yeah. You hear it at the desk, don't you?
Well, and when you think about it, we do 2 8-week series each year. We do one series that goes from January to about March. Then we do another series that's September through maybe November, middle of November, and then we come back in with a special Christmas concert. And sometimes we do, or we're fortunate enough, sometimes in April, to pick up an extra special guest that might be passing through the state for some reason that'll come in and do a program for us. So, you know, we focus on children's programming in the summertime, but these adult programs are something that we have just come to love so much at the library because we've got a tried and true formula. We like to say that it's taken 20 plus years to perfect. But we've got a time of day that we think people enjoy getting out and coming, and we've got a format that we think they love. So, Dr. Spears, thank you for coming in today to talk about this, because I know that this is your passion.
Right. I appreciate the opportunity, and it did come to be with time one of my very favorite things to do. And one reason being that we had so much feedback from across the state with people that admired, and now they're emulating and doing their own thing. And we're so proud to see libraries getting into that arena, because learning is about so much more than checking out a book and taking it home. It's about stimulating your mind and thinking about new things and reading something maybe you don't agree with, or hearing a program you may not agree with. But to me, that's part of growing and being tolerant.
Well, you're in the audience may realize this if they know anything about you at all, but in the library world, you're basically a forerunner in this type of programming, because a lot of libraries have not jumped off into this yet. A lot of libraries really don't quite know how to carry out a series of this magnitude. And just not too many weeks ago, Dr. Spears and I were able to sit on a conference call. The State Library Association called, and agency called and wanted to know about how to do adult programming, and it was based off of this formula because they get these brochures and they see it. And so I think it's just a testimony to you, Dr. Spears, that you've been able to build such a great program. And we want to talk about the brown bag now, and if you've never joined us for a brown bag program before, you may wonder what it is. So talk a little bit about the format. What happens when you come to a brown bag?
Well, we used to have a format. I talked to someone the other day that called about brown bag, and we used to have a format where we're in a room upstairs and we had tables and we ate a sandwich during the presentation. Well, finally, we were having 90 people in that room trying to eat a sandwich and listen to a speaker, so we went to a different concept. So we do a social hour from 11 until 12 where people can fellowship. Lots of husbands and wives come in. And they did bring a sandwich for a long time, and then they figured out that we have lots of refreshments, so they kind of graze now, and if they want to bring a sandwich, they can. Then promptly at 12 o'clock, we go over and start the program, and that way people that work can come in on their lunch break. If they ease out at 5:10 till 1, that's okay. Most of them will sit toward the back. And then sometimes you'll have music, or you'll have a program of special interest, like maybe the textile stories or something, and people may stay a long time and talk afterwards to the presenter. But it is okay at the end to come and go and get out of there if you need to. So I think it evolved with time, and it's a great plan. And you know, while I have such great love for it and appreciation, I have so much appreciation for the library now and the continued support for it, because it takes a village to do this. It is a tremendous undertaking to plan, get this done. Then the fun starts with the staff. decorating, making the library clean and presentable as it always is, and then just making it happen with Nelda Vogel and Mike Van Elsen and Joe Andrews. There's so many people involved, Tracy, and I appreciate you and your support for something that's made us unique, outstanding.
Well, I think it definitely has, and we're appreciative very much to our staff because they get excited about this and they get excited about the programs, but they really get excited about the fact that so many people from the community are coming in and they realize that this is a social outlet for so many of our people that come. They enjoy getting to come and have a few minutes to sit and eat with their friends and their neighbors and visit, and then get to see a program, a very quality program. And then you mentioned after the programs are over with, one of the things that I love to see is sometimes the conversations that it generates.
Right.
At the end of the program, people will stay and kind of gather up in their little groups and talk about what they just heard. And so anything that causes conversation and brings people together as community, I think is a positive thing.
And they'll go look for a book, or they'll go to their computers and they'll try to find out more. So I think it stimulates learning to such a great extent. I really do.
I think so too. And before we get started talking about the actual programs, I want to mention one thing, and that's our sponsors. We could not do this, a program of this magnitude, without sponsors.
Absolutely. I mean, it's critical to us to have people like our South First sponsor and the Coosa Valley Medical Center's Hickory Street Cafe. And then we have lots of volunteers, they're sponsors in my book, and also people that help us with the refreshments. So all these sponsorships come in different ways.
They do.
And we just couldn't do it without the community support. And I think our community is very proud that we have people come in from Auburn, Prattville, Pell City, Birmingham. We even have some people from Huntsville who come down. If they see a presenter on here, they will be here for one or two of these, I can assure you. So you think that doesn't make Sylacauga proud? It really does. It makes us very proud.
Absolutely. So again, we appreciate our sponsors so much. And I do want to mention that if you are not on our mailing list and you don't receive one of these brochures that we have here in front of us, we'd be happy to put you on a mailing list because we mail out a tremendous amount of these things, and you'd be surprised, like you said, how many actually go out of Sylacauga.
They do, and you'd be surprised at the people that don't know about the series still. And last week I took 2 names down, one in the beauty shop, one in Ollie's. And we just struck up a conversation with them. They said, one woman said, I'm retired from Honda. Another woman was retired from somewhere else, and they said, we don't know about this, we'd love to come. So you'd better believe they're gonna have a brochure this week.
Yeah, I was able to share it with somebody in Walmart yesterday, so it's nice. We're going to take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get started talking to you and telling you about some of the great performers and the programs that we've got coming up.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
As a fitness instructor and former collegiate athlete, I know the importance of eating healthy and staying fit. Hi, I'm Isaac Jennings. Did you know that free after-school meals are available throughout Talladega County for children of the ages of 18 years and under? Please contact Safe Family Services Center if you would like to know more information. And remember, every meal matters, and it all starts with you. Get healthy, Talladega County.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room, to surgery, to cancer treatment, to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas, and today we're talking with Dr. Shirley Spears. And Dr. Spears and I are talking about the Brown Bag series that's coming up. This will be our winter 2019 series, and it's called Celebrating Alabama's Storied Past. And each series we have a theme that we try to carry through. And so this year is something a little special. We are actually celebrating Alabama's 200 bicentennial birthday this year in December of 2019. And so all of our programs revolve around that theme. And this is a series that has been endorsed by the Bicentennial Committee. And so these programs will be advertised statewide and beyond. So will you talk just a minute, Dr. Spears, about the Bicentennial Committee, because you're actually a member of the statewide committee?
Well, we started about 3 years ago in 17, celebrating Alabama's 200th birthday. And that seems early, but that was the territorial period, and then you go into with 2018 and you move on into statehood and that sort of thing. And then of course this next year will be the true birthday party type celebration throughout the state. And it's been exciting and fun to think about having our 200th birthday, and it's been a real pleasure to be a part of some of the planning that did go on behind that. Sylacauga, of course, being a small town, basically we sort of are not able to come up with great big blowouts like Montgomery, Mobile. So you put your bucket down where you are, as Booker T. Washington said, or anyway, I think that's what you try to do is, George Washington Carver, I believe, said that. But anyway, I think it's a great thought that you do what you can with what you have. So what we're doing and what you're doing so beautifully is tying the bicentennial theme to the things that we do so well. And that goes for our brown bag series. And Celebrating Alabama's Storied Past is just a generic title that reflects the fact that we're going to be looking at the past. We're doing Alabama stories or stories by Alabamians, and it's just that simple. This lineup basically reflects that. So I think it's a great fun theme. I think it's a great learning theme, and I think people are going to enjoy coming, and I hope they will.
I think so too. For people that may not know, the bicentennial, the 3-year celebration, the 3-year-long celebration, each year focused on a different aspect.
Right.
1 year was people from Alabama, 1 year was places in Alabama, and 1 year was stories from Alabama. And so everything that we have in this lineup, I think, revolves around those 3 central themes. And so we're going to be kicking off on January the 16th, and this is one of our favorite programs that we start with, and that's Buddy Simpkins and his friends.
I think it's important to start out on a high note, no pun intended. And Buddy does that so beautifully. He has friends in Birmingham who are known, they're historic black jazz and R&B players, Cleve Eaton, Bo Berry. And this year we are having a vocalist and a pianist that are coming in, 2 ladies. One of them is Tina Wilson, the other is Choco. And I'm looking forward to that. Last year Tina was supposed to come and she had the flu and didn't get to come, so we're still waiting on her to sing for us. But this is always wonderful. You'll enjoy it. They don't have a chance to practice together. Buddy plays the drums, and they jam. And they'll jam for 50 or 60 minutes. So if you like good music, come down, join us.
These are some tried and true artists, and we're so excited that they're willing to come to Sylacauga.
Really.
These are big names. And we always appreciate Mr. Buddy Simpkins so much for putting this together, because
they
come for him.
They do.
They come
really
for
do.
him. And then on January the 23rd, we've got Patty Callahan, and her book is Becoming Mrs. Lewis, and that has had some popularity in the last few months.
I mean, that book has really caught fire. I didn't know about Patty Callahan, but then I started having calls from people who are giants in the literary world, like Nancy Anderson, and of course Craig Brown saw her at Monroeville. She's a lady from Mountain Brook. She was a former nurse, and she started writing a few years ago. I don't really know the circumstances, except that she probably had the burn to write. She has 12 books now, and Becoming Mrs. Lewis is the story of the wife of C.S. Lewis. And of course, I didn't realize how many people love and read and revere C.S. Lewis until we started actually talking about this book, and people would say, "Oh, I love C.S. Lewis." So the story of the love affair, and he was an English don and a giant in the real religious theology. Here she is, probably at that time a non-believer. And so anyway, she sat down and wrote to him, and they started doing letters to each other. And this is the beautiful story of a woman that doesn't seem like there would be any way that she would be a fit for C.S. Lewis, but a woman that finally he said that she became his whole world. So I think this is a beautiful story. Lots of people are reading it. It's on the New York Times bestseller list, so it's going to be a fabulous chance to see Patty Callahan tell about writing that story and how she came to write it. So I think it'd be wonderful.
We love having our tried and true presenters and performers come, but it's always nice to discover somebody new as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
We love a new face. We do.
On January the 30th, we've got Dr. Ed Bridges, and he has got just a tremendous background in Alabama history.
Well, he ran the Alabama Department of Archives and History for 30 years. And he is probably one of the foremost people who, in terms of knowledge of Alabama history that's living today. He is a giant. And if you notice, we have lots of giants that come to Sylacauga because they like to come because of the audience here. And of course, the library too. They love the library, come to love the library. Ed does a really good job. He's one of the best speakers that I've ever seen, and you can believe I've seen lots of speakers. But he decided to sit down and do a capsule because of the bicentennial. He wrote the official bicentennial Alabama history book that's out there. Can't remember the name of it right now, but I have it somewhere in this
Alabama,
write-up.
the Making of an American State.
Yeah, this is a beautiful book, and it's relatively new, so I urge
He had those for sale the last time he was
did,
here
and
as well.
he may again, but I urge anybody that wants a good Alabama history book to buy that, and also the revision of Alabama, the history of Deep South State. But if you want to know, that he calls it 14,000 years of Alabama history in 45 minutes. And of course, you know, that's just a catchy title that says, hey, I'm going to give you an overview of Alabama history as I have come to know it from studying it. So I really look forward to that. He's done this in Birmingham before and decided that he would like to bring it to us.
Dr. Bridges is one of those presenters that when he gets up to speak, you know, you love listening to him because he doesn't have to have those notes. He speaks because he truly knows it. It's
sort of a Clint Eastwood looking guy, about 6'4", just a rangy guy. You can see him riding a horse but not telling a history story. So we love him. We enjoy him so much.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about the rest of this great series coming up.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
As a fitness instructor and former collegiate athlete, I know the importance of eating healthy and staying fit. Hi, I'm Isaac Jennings. Did you know that free after-school meals are available throughout Talladega County for children of the ages of 18 years and under? Please contact Safe Family Services Center if you would like to know more information. And remember, every meal matters, and it all starts with you. Get healthy, Talladega County.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas, and today we're talking with Dr. Shirley Spears, and Dr. Spears has been talking to us about this upcoming Brown Bag series that we have. It's celebrating Alabama's storied past, and we're carrying through the bicentennial 200th birthday of Alabama theme through all of our programming, and we've got a great program on February the 6th, and so last year it's the Talladega College Choir, and last year was our first year to host them, and it was just a spiritual experience to be in that room when they sang. It was a beautiful program, and so Dr. Mitchell promised us he'd be willing to come back if we called, and so we called.
Well, I really enjoyed the program last year, and I really was inspired by the young people who sang for us. They were about 30 of them. They have about 100 members. Dr. Mitchell is quite a guy. He came there in 13, and that is a renowned choir. They have sung everywhere. I mean, they've sung at places that you wouldn't believe that a choir from Talladega could go. So we feel very lucky to have them. I don't know exactly what they'll be doing for the February theme. It doesn't matter. I'll enjoy anything they do. Last year they did gospel music. And they may do that again for February. That's Black History Month, and last year they were doing that. But I thoroughly enjoyed those young people, particularly talking to them afterwards. And so many of them are from other states. And they're getting a look at our state and loving it. and they don't want to go back to Michigan, or they don't want to go back wherever they're from. They really like Alabama, and I think Alabama needs that kind of press.
Yeah.
Those young people are giving us.
We really enjoyed, we hosted the choir members after the program was over and had a little bit of lunch with them, and it was nice to sit and get to know, we call them kids, college-age kids, getting to know some of them. And what struck me, I think, the most was the amount of respect that they have for Dr. Mitchell. When he stood, they listened. When he spoke, they were attentive. And this was just such a wonderful day for us. And the only thing we regretted is that we couldn't have all 100 members of the choir come and sing together.
It was hard to have 30.
It was hard to get 30 in there, but it was a beautiful sound. And so we're going to have probably about that many this time as well. Invite you to come out and experience that. Then on February the 13th, right close to Valentine's Day, we get, he's just a real sweetheart for Valentine's Day. And
that's perfect.
Dr. David Alsabrook, and he is just a wonderful person, and I'll let you talk about his program.
Well, Dr. Alsabrook is a noted archival historian. He did the Bush Sr., President Carter, and Bill Clinton's libraries. He was sort of the director, the archivist. He had different roles, but he played major roles in all of them and was the director of the last two. So he wrote a book about the cotton mill in Eufaula called Southside, because that's where his roots are. His grandparents lived there, raised his dad there, worked there. So he got really interested in saving that story. And that, if you have not read Southside, the Eufaula cotton mill story, and you're interested at all in textile history, I think it's one of the best books I've ever read. Beautifully, simply written with wonderful stories. So anyway, we had him in for that, but then finding out how knowledgeable he was about Donald Comer, or Mr. Donald, the governor's son, who fought in the Philippines at a time when probably he didn't have to go to the Philippines, but he signed and went to the Philippines, and that war was an insurrection, and it lasted for about 3 years. And when he came back, he had malaria and he had asthma, and he was a tall, frail man who you wouldn't think would be suited to get into that aggressive world, but he took the cotton mill that they purchased in Eufaula, and he just became a giant in the textile world. Noted for he had been over a troop of black soldiers in the Philippines, and so when he came back, a changed man in so many ways, and his feelings, the epiphany that he had while he was gone, I think impacted on him to be a person who treated people well. He became known as, he didn't like the word paternalism, but he believed in taking care of the employees. And it was just, for its time, that's an amazing thing to happen. And so he's told this story once in Birmingham, I know, and I thought it would be a good program to be brought to Sylacauga, because we still have the vestiges of our textile culture here, and we have so many people that are interested in those stories that are connected with the mills. And of course they own the Comers on the Avondale in Eufaula, but they also own the one in Sylacauga. So it ties in so well for us. You couldn't ever ask for a better person than David Alsabrook to tell the story. He's kind, and we tell him he's an adopted citizen. So he's coming back for us, and we'll be glad to see he and his wife Ellen. They're such lovely people.
They are such sweet people, and emailing with him last week, I said Mr. David and Miss Ellen, and he emailed back and he said, as Barbara Bush once told me, please call me by my first name, don't call me Mr. or Ms. So he's just got a wealth of stories, and I think people enjoy seeing him again. On Wednesday, February the 20th, we have got Dr. Catherine Braun, and I remember when we were trying to kind of tweak our format for Brown Bag, we had her come do a series that was at night one time, and we tried doing several programs at night consecutively during a week, and that's how far back was the early 90s, so that's how long our history with her is.
Well, we do go way back with Catherine, and she's come a long way. She really has. Every once in a while she'll say, oh my God, Shirley, I was just so green about Indians back then. She had gotten her PhD at the University of Florida, I believe, or Florida State, one of those places down there. And she was freelancing and trying to get a job at Auburn, and now she has a wonderful honored position at Auburn with the history department there. She is considered one of the foremost historians on southeastern Indians, so she's coming in to talk about the federal road that came through. and she'll be telling the stories of people who travel that road. So I think that's going to be especially interesting.
She's so knowledgeable. I think people will really enjoy her. And then on February the 27th, we have got a giant coming in, and that's Dr. Wayne Flint.
Well, usually with Dr. Flint, you know, you always count yourself so lucky to have him. You make schedule him a year ahead, but he wrote an article on Zora Neale Hurston, who was a black female writer born in Notasulga, Alabama during the 30s, and she came into a lot of fame and prominence for her writing. And Dr. Flint wrote an article for the Alabama Heritage magazine, and I saw that, and I just emailed him and said, hey, would you like to come and tell the Zora Neale Hurston story for the people in Sylacauga? And he said, I will, but I want to tie it to the African American literary renaissance that happened during the 30s and 40s, the flurry of writing that she inspired. And I think that people are going to really enjoy something that she's one of the most famous black writers alive in our past. She's dead, been dead for a while. But there's little known about her with us, with people in Alabama. So he's trying to take care of that. He wants to talk about Zora Neale Hurston and talk about her birth and how she came to be who she was and what happened to her. She had a sad story that turned out good in the end. So
I think it's wonderful the way he's trying to celebrate her so that people know about her.
I do too. I really do. And it's a good year to do that.
So, and it's good to get Dr. Wayne Flint back in Sylacauga. And then we wrap up on March the 6th with one of our favorites, and that's Dolores Hydock. She's an extreme storyteller extraordinaire.
Right. Well, you know that with the Brown Bag Adult Lecture Series, it's always wonderful to come in on that high note and then go out on that high note, because we've been doing history and talking, you know, some deep stuff. So she's always fun. She's going to do Taking Sides, a different look at the controversial life of an Alabama country music legend. She says there's two sides. Some people feel one way, some people another. I'll tell his story. How do you feel? You can decide. I do not know who she's talking about. I really don't. Now, that is a strange position to be put in, to know that she's coming to tell a story about a Alabama country music legend. I'm not sure who it is, but I sure do want to know.
She likes to do stories that keep you in suspense.
She does, and she will never, she'll give me about I may get a blurb from some of these people telling me all about what they're talking about. She'll give me about 2 or 3 lines, because she wants to tell her story and she wants to surprise and delight. And the best way to put it with Dolores is she does surprise and delight. She really does.
A lot of people don't understand, if you've not, as an adult, if you've not sat through a storytelling program by somebody that's as wonderful of a storyteller as Dolores is, you don't understand how relaxing that is and how enjoyable that is.
She's just the best. She's the best storyteller I've ever seen, and you know, on par with Catherine Tucker Wyndham. So anyway, it's just a pleasure to have this series, and thank you, Tracy, for allowing me to come in and sort of let people know what it's about. I hope people will come out. If you'll just come to one program, I promise you, I'll bet money you'll come back.
Well, one thing that Dr. Spears has always said is sometimes people will pick this up and look and say, oh, I like this one, I don't like this one, I think I'll skip that and come to this one. But after they come to one or two, they realize it really doesn't matter what the topic is.
Right.
They know there's some guarantees. They're going to have a good day, they're going to have some good food, they're going to hear a great presenter, a great speaker, and they're going to enjoy being with their friends and neighbors.
Right.
So it's a great day. So.
We say food, fun, fellowship, it's all there. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Spears, so much for the hard work you put into this. We thank you for joining us, and we thank you to all the people that come and attend these programs, because that really is why the presenters come back, is because you come and support it. Thank you again to our sponsors, to South First Bank and to the Hickory Street Cafe and to TV 47 for letting us have this time with you. Have a great day.